Welcome everyone. I'm right now here in Neuss in Germany at the R&D center at Yanfeng. And Yanfeng is a Chinese company, an automotive supplier that is known for electronics, for passive safety, for interior design, and many more expertise areas that we will talk about. And I have the really pretty outstanding opportunity to sit today together with the Yanfeng leaders and to ask some behind-the-scenes questions. And you are welcome to join us. So first question for Patrick, because I know a little bit about the trend that is happening, basically, that European brands, OEMs, they tend to have, let's say, parts developed by several suppliers. But in China, is the trend like you develop sometimes the full, let's say, the whole equipment of the interior design, everything for one particular brand, for one particular model. Why is that such a big difference, and where does it originate, let's say, from?
So thank you, Lumia, for this question and introduction. So actually, you're right. In China, the market is a little different than in Europe or in the US. What we see is that what is important in China is the speed. So there are many now new players, new car manufacturers since a couple of years, and there are a high level of competitions. So the key thing for them is to be first on the market, and then also to bring a lot of content in their car to fulfill the needs of their customers. And to do that, as now it's becoming so high in terms of pressure, they are working with partners like Yanfeng, and Yanfeng is able to then propose all components inside the car or the cabin. So we're doing seats, we're doing all the instrument panel, door panels, we do also safety product, airbag, steering wheel, we do the electronics, we do some exterior part. And then as we master all these components, we have also what we call cross-business unit offer. So we combine product together. We combine electronic and the seat, combine electronic and the steering wheel, for example. And for the customers, basically, it's also, for some of them, simpler to provide a kind of offer to us to say, can you take the responsibility of the full cabin? And that's what we do. And when we do that, we have also the capabilities to develop a new design offer from what would be the experience on board, what kind of styling, what kind of colors or materials we will provide with our industrial design team. And we can, of course, develop that like a traditional OEMs and go down to productions of the full cabin. The good thing for the OEMs when they decide to do that is basically that we take the ownership of all the components and the interaction between the components. And that's where we can be more efficient for them, more efficient in terms of speed, as I said, and in terms of cost also. And that's the reason why we see that now moving as a key trend in China, and we got some program like that where we are taking care of everything. So you will see that soon on the road in China. And back to your question about how does this resonate with the other markets, we got also now to acknowledge that in the US, in Europe, the sourcing is more traditional. In other words, an auto manufacturer will say, oh, I want an expert for seat, and then he will take the responsibility of the full cabin, or keep it actually, and then you will ask seat expert like us to provide the seat or part of the seat. But now what we see is that the competition is global. So we see that the Chinese players, they are already delivering cars in Europe, for example, in China, in the US. And then what happened is that basically the local car manufacturers, they feel the pressure and they understand that the speed in China isn't the speed in Europe, for example. And that's now, I think, will change. It's not there yet, but I can see also discussing with our customers that they understand clearly what I just described. And then we have this kind of dialogue now to see, okay, how can we help them to continue to be also having good and competitive cars on the market?
It looks like, let's say, integration of the whole cabin and development on the whole cabin is even an advantage, let's say. No? So when you say like you can really save resources, time, etc., and those are the KPIs that are measured, no? Basically. So yeah, it's very, very interesting to know. And actually, we mentioned now for how many countless times the fast pace of the innovation. So Andrea, a question for you is like, is that about all the features that you develop, or do you see more demand for some areas and less demand for others?
Yeah, yes, the developing speed is really increasing. So we see that, of course, as described. And that's up to customer expectation, because the market offers in the last years a lot of new technologies. And about these new technologies, the customer requires in their cars then really this new technology in a really fast change, in a fast innovation cycle. So in the opposite, when you ask about the areas where it's happened, the opposite is more, take the example of interiors. The interiors part where it's with carriers, with plastic parts, with laminated trim part, without any electronic content, that is parts where we see that this speed is not so much. So it's more the traditional way as it was just described. And of course, the parts are very important because these trim parts gave us in the cabin this home feeling that you feel at your home when you stay in the car. So it's very, very important, but without the electronic content. And the technologies who driven with this speed is then more on the display, with electronic integration, with smart surfaces, lighting integration. This user experience, what is then really with the electrical content, that is the speed one. And electrical vehicle and the content for autonomous driving speed up that very more, and very often customers expect that in a regular change because they would like to have this smart cabin experience in their car.
Actually, very interesting that you mentioned all of that. What is actually more interested or more demanded even. The next question that naturally leads to that, because I mean, where do we find sustainability in all of that? No? So how does it go actually in that direction? So, and now if I see that from the consumer side, let's say, where do you rank, let's say, the sustainability part in comparison to technology, to quality, to safety, etc.? Like, is it nice to have somewhere in the end when everything else is fine, let's say, or is that the deciding buying factor, basically? So I know it's tricky.
No, it's a good question. I think you need to understand the sustainability as, let's say, an holistic question, an holistic topic. If we take it that way, sustainability is not a kind of nice to have. It's something we must have. And if you take of the powertrain of the car, now in some cities in Europe, it will become very natural that, hey, you have to have an electrical car to get inside the car, to the city with a car. So on that aspect of the powertrains, it's a kind of no-brainer. You will have more sustainability solutions. Then coming to our own product for the interiors of the car, it's a kind of going up and down because the market is also something like a living animal, if you want. So in terms of sustainability compared to, let's say, other key criteria for the end user, for the buyer of the car, we have to be honest. I mean, the price is still the first driver to, let's say, just acquire a new vehicle. So this is always important to keep in mind, the price. And then it depends on markets and segment of the market, but sustainability is rarely number two. Number two could be comfort or technology, as described by Andrea, and then sustainability comes as a number three. Nevertheless, it's our commitment as an industry players to improve the sustainability, to improve the CO2 emission reductions for the beginning of the car, for using the car, and at the end of the life of the car. And that's what we do. So we provide that with different materials, different processes. We are always improving step by step, but it's difficult to say now customers are buying a car because it's the most sustainable one. I think sustainability, it's also a question of strategy of premium OEMs. And we see that most, if not all of the premium OEMs especially if you look at Europe, German premium OEMs or all European premium OEMs, they are committed to be more sustainable. And some of them more than others, but I think they will not make some trade-off there. And we are supporting them, as I said, with material, with process, with other solutions to be more sustainable in scope 1, 2, and 3.
Let me combine now what you both said, and basically we go now a little bit deeper in the sustainability topic and particularly in the circularity topic, because you mentioned also like the luxury brands, etc., what is happening there. So that means circularity in particular cannot always mean like, oh, we have now like compromises on some material qualities, etc. Like, do you have still to fight against that perception, let's say? And maybe Andrea now can answer that. So like, or is that already something that goes hand in hand? Sustainability can be also a luxury characteristic. So tell me more.
Yeah, that's a perfect question, because that make sustainability and circularity more attractive, it must be really absolutely sure that the consumers see that is not any loss of quality. So, because there is still an opinion in the market that sustainability still feels cheap, perform worse, and that's absolutely not true, because we know very well that the specification, the requirements for these kind of materials, the sustainable materials, are really the same specification. So the consumer needs really to know, and that we make sure that they have really this offer of the high quality for touch and feel and for all the requirements. And for that one, that must be for us a goal, and especially for the automotive market, that we really respect these customer expectations. So, and we need to fulfill that with materials like recycled injection molding, with nature fibers, also with surfaces. We have a green fabric available, or with a steering wheel with EPP. And in addition to that one, we need really a clear and a simple communication to the market, to the consumers, that we have their materials where we have then a CO2 reduction, where we can save resources, that they are changing the mind, so that they really understand and have the willingness, my next car needs to be a car where sustainable materials have to be in. And with this kind of communication, I believe also that the OEM changed their mind and gave sustainability a higher priority. You ask about that, what is it ranked? And it is a nice to have today, so it's not this priority. But when we as consumers, we as a car buyers, as we sit here, also bring this pressure to the market that OEMs change their mind, that helps a lot. That means when we are at a car seller, take the question there. So what kind of sustainable material do you have? And I like to play this little game very often and ask that maybe, hopefully, something is changing from the priority.
And actually, you do not only bring the pressure, but you bring the opportunities. Let's say we have all of those options. We developed that. That's exactly, let's say, nicely looking, that you want to have it, the nice touch, and also that is also sustainable in the, for example, that it's circular, that it's recycled, etc., etc. Like, it's really good to know that it can go hand in hand with luxury characteristics. So good to notice. So now another tricky question for you. Somehow you get only the tricky questions. Like, okay, you have lots and lots of, particularly because you originated from China, you have lots and lots of innovation that are coming from China. Even we heard also before that innovation, let's say, exchange goes in both ways. Of course, it does. But you have also to take lots of Chinese innovations and to integrate them for the European or US market. Is that an internal challenge, or how you handle that?
So I won't say it's a challenge. We are set up that way. So, for example, my innovation team is a global team. So we are working hands in hands with the Chinese team and the European teams. We have also some American colleagues to ensure we are also connected to the North American markets. So it's really a global team working to address several markets, several customers. Talking about the Chinese market and Chinese demands in terms of content, what we innovate, what is, let's say, the most visible concepts we proposed is the one which is just there behind me, XIM25 for Experience in Motion 25. And in that one, we built that mainly in China. And we have presented there some experience which are, of course, super well resonating with the Chinese market. To give you an example, we got what we call a safe unit. It's basically a zero gravity seat. So you will be in a full relaxed positions while you are in a parking lot, or also coming soon when you will be in the level 4 for autonomous driving while driving. And we are already in production with some elements of this safe unit in China. And when we presented that to the European customers, I was also surprised that to see that some of the car maker and some of the professionals were saying, hey, having a full relaxed seat, being able to be in my car, maybe not driving today, but being in my car in a comfortable positions because I'm waiting for my kids who is doing whatever lecture or in the school is something they would be super interested to get, you know. And another example is in same cars, we are presenting a bed. So when the first time I discussed with my team in China and said, hey, we need to put a bed there, I was like, for bed, are you sure? And they said, no, yeah, we need a bed. And then, you know what, we need also a camping mode. I was like, what is a camping mode? And then we have now innovated in that car a way to make a rotation of the seats so that you look outside and you can use your car as, let's say, a big mobile home or a tent for a camping experience and a bed for a camping experience. And first time I was saying, okay, fine for Chinese market. And then we introduced that to some European customers, North American customers. And I was super happy to see that also they were, you know, kind of scratching their head and saying, yeah, maybe it could be interesting for some customers in this Western market. So just to share with you, you know, even in the past we were saying, oh, this is a very Chinese focused innovations. Now we have to be super open because it might be also a need that Western customer would love to have. So we are really in a kind of a moving and a never stopping market and segments, different segments, which is also super interesting.
Actually, we have also this new trend in general now that camping combined with glamour called glamping. So maybe that's the next trend for the automotive as well. So yeah, actually, let's talk one more time about the competitiveness. We heard that about the Asian market as well, but we feel that now in Europe as well. And of course, particularly at the premium level OEMs, we feel the competitiveness and the cost pressure. So how do you turn that particular challenge into an opportunity for Yanfeng?
Yeah, Yanfeng is very good positioned on that topic. We do a lot of innovation in China, as you have described that, and that are doing there really with an incredible speed. So, and in general, our OEMs, they like to work with us because they're knowing that in China, the innovation circles in general are in the industry very fast. And so they like to share with us our experience. And next to these requirements from customer, the maturity, the high maturity for an innovation when they bring these new innovation developments in their cars in is for the European OEM, especially for the premium OEM, very, very important. And we make sure that we can really offer this kind of high maturity. And we are very good positioned also on that topic because our development centers in China are working on the topics, of course. But we in Europe, outside from China's development center, have also great opportunities here in noise, in Europe with noise and Trenčín, in North America, in India, in Pune. We have the development center to work together with our Chinese colleague to bring these new ideas, the developments, the innovations in a maturity level that the customers feel safe to bring these products in a fully educated, fully safe kind on the market. And so for that one, we are very strong. Next to this topic, we just mentioned the topic about the cross-business unit activities, these system solutions. That is a kind of a topic what we are offering because we are able with our wide product portfolio from interiors, the seating, the safety, then we have electronics, lighting. We can really develop integrated systems with all this topic, and that reduced the complexity at the OEM side. And of course, reduced complexity means also lower costs. And for that kind of cost pressure, what you mentioned, we turn that really into an opportunity, because we see that with our position, with our experience, what we have with our innovation in Europe and in China together, we are very well positioned in the market.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Patrick, for taking the time and answering my questions. And see you in the next panel.
Thank you, Ludmilla.
Thank you.